Shalom, shalom. Giving all honor, the praise, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops that rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect and sincere Akima Aqua that believe. To you men, women, and children, keep pushing, keep believing. Stay strong, right? And to the my fellow Akim that labor under that's laboring, subscribe to this 100% truth. To you, I say shalom. Shalom to you all. So before I get into this lesson is going to be about the RFID C-HIP. What is the RFID C-HIP? Okay, or the M.O.T.B for short, right? As we like to say a lot, the M.O.T.B, the RFID C-HIP. You know, we regarding this topic, we encode it so that it doesn't get flagged, because Esau's algorithm flags this topic. So when this lesson comes out a lot, brothers, this lesson get taken down often, so we have to encode it so it goes up. So M.O.T.B, for those that know, you know what I'm saying? For those that know. So, right, let's get into it. Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson, straight to the point. Now, what is the M.O.T.B, right? Right, and the M.O.T.B, it's lock it for the background noise. Yeah, so lock it for the background noise. But back on topic, right? The discussion is, what is the RFID C-HIP? What is the M.O.T.B, right? And the M.O.T.B, actually, I said it, the M.O.T.B is the RFID C-HIP, okay? It's not sin, it's not money, right? It's not all of these other things that, these other camps been teaching, like the IUIC, it's not these other things. So, like, yeah, I got a lot of interruptions this morning. But back what I was saying, right? It's not what the IUIC is saying. It's not what these other camps are saying. It is, the M.O.T.B, right? The M.O.T.B is the RFID C-HIP. Okay, so let's go into that just to show you what it looks like before I get into the Revelation 13 and 16 through 18. Okay. This, see this, the size of a grain of rice, that is the M.O.T.B. All right, that is this. See, implant, because this is going to go inside humans in the future, right? When they set up their NWO, this was going to go inside, and this is going to be the new credit card, basically a new wallet, because this is going to be the new payment system by way of how people are going to pay in the NWO, right? And the elder Yashawamba did a lesson on watching prophecy. He did a lesson titled "Watching Prophecy" regarding the M.O.T.B, and he shared a clip in his lesson of Trump talking about establishing, right, giving you speaking on Trump. Actually, Salakia was speaking on the M.O.T.B, right? So in his lesson, as he doing his lesson, he pulled up a clip, Elder Yashawamba, of Trump speaking on the M.O.T.B. You see, so this is what's going to go inside people, and this is going to be the new wallet, your new credit card, right? And your new ID is going to be a wallet. It's going to be a passport. It's going to be an ID. It's going to be your keys to get into your house, your keys into your car, right? It's gonna be so many. It's gonna replace so many things because you know this is gonna be the future, right? And this is what they're gonna use. These elites is gonna use to um, basically control the masses. Like Elder Apostle Gabar say, you know, the C hip, right? The RFID C hip is to make people into digital slaves, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to turn you into a digital slave. Okay, so you need to know that because this is a major prophecy that you know that people don't know or are constantly, or either they don't know it, or rather they are misleading the people, right? Intentionally not telling them the truth. Okay, so this is the future. This was gonna go inside people's bodies, and this is what you're gonna use in your grocery stores, your supermarkets, your your businesses, right, to buy and sell. Okay, so now you know what it is. Look, it says RFID micro C hips. Gotta use code, right? Are tiny rice-sized transponders that use radio waves to transmute data to readers. So in other words, it's a C hip the size of a grain of rice that transmits signals, right? Radio waves. Okay. And it says they transmit data to readers. So these are your and how that's gonna happen, right? Let's read on. Let's read on. Let's read on. Salaki. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's read on. It says widely used for pets identification, inventory tracking, and increasingly human implants. They enable contactless, convenient authentication for tasks like secure entry, payments, and storing personal data, usually without needing a battery. So this doesn't require any batteries, right? But the key, it says convenient authentication, and that's how they're gonna get you, right? That's how they're gonna get these human implants. That's how they're gonna sell. That's gonna be their selling point is through convenience. Okay, that's how Esau is gonna sell these RFID hips to the people is through convenience. Before he makes it, before Esau Edom, the so-called white man, forces it on the people, right, by way of draconian law, right, because it tell you in the scripture that if you don't take it, you'll be put to death. But before that happens, before he turns it into a draconian law, he first is going to persuade the people by way of convenience, right? He's going to show how convenient and useful this RFID C hip really is, right? And a lot of people are going to fall for it because they're going to see the convenience and comply with what Esau is trying to do without realizing what he's trying to do, if that makes sense. So it says convenient authentication for tasks like secure entry, payments, and storing personal data. And that's going to be the talking points, right? Esau is going to explain it. These elites are going to say, well, with this RFID hip, you know, you don't gotta pay, you don't gotta pull out your wallet, right? You don't gotta tap your phone. You could just tap your hand, you know? You don't gotta worry about losing your wallet, losing your ID, losing your passport, losing your personal information, right? Or your personal information getting hacked. It's all secured on your RFID C hit. You see? So that is how they're gonna sell it, and a lot of people gonna accept that because that's gonna make sense to them, not understanding that the true plans of the elites is to turn them into digital slaves. Once you take this RFID C hip, right? You are a digital slave. You are property of Esau Edom, so-called YT man. You're his property. All right. You're the property of the elites. Okay. You won't have any freedom, right? The lit And right, the rights that we have, you won't have any rights because our rights are being taken away from us, right? The so-called rights that we were given, right, are being taken away by the same powers, right? The same government that gave them. But in the NWO, you won't have any rights. See, you won't have any privileges, right? Once you once you become a digital slave in the beast system, it's either comply or die, comply or suffer, right? Because there's going to be penalties for people that don't comply to the rules that's going to be set in this beast system. So that's how they're going to sell it to the people. They're going to go by way of convenience. Let's go into that word, convenient.
Convenient.
Convenient. Convenient describes something that is easy to use, saves effort, fits one's needs, or is located nearby, causing little trouble or difficulty, right? That's how Esau's gonna sell that RFID hip to you, right? He gonna show you that it's easy to use, right? It save efforts. You don't gotta take out your keys to open your car door. You don't gotta take out your keys to open up your front door, right? You don't gotta take out your ID to show your identification. You don't gotta take out your credit card or tap your phone to pay for something. All of that could be done through your C-hip. That's how Esau going to sell it to you. Not understand, not and then the people that don't know that take it, right? They don't realize that they just fell into his trap, and now they're digital slaves to the beast, to Salaki. They're digital slaves to the elites. Yes, let me correct that. They're digital slaves. Whoever takes this C-hip, this RFID C-hip, are are digital slaves to the elites. You have no freedoms. You have no right, because if you get out of line, you say something that's not you say something that they don't like, right? That's not politically correct. You do something that that's not approved, or you say something that's not politically correct. Guess what happened? Right? They just shut off your chip, your C hip, Salakia. They shut off your C hip, so you won't be able to buy or sell anything, right? Leaving you destitute, poor, and messed up. Because if you got the bills ain't gonna stop coming in, right? Your family have needs, right? You know, that won't stop, right? We even as adults have needs. That's not gonna end. We all have needs. So once they shut off your C hip in the B system, in the NWO, that's it. That's a wrap. You won't be able to pay your bills. You won't be able to go to work, get payment, right? For work. Can't get paid for your work. Can't pay your bills, right? You can't buy food or buy things that you need. You can't pay for services, right? You can't go out. You won't be able to do anything, right? You're going to be completely shut off from society. It's going to be like similar to something to window shopping. It's basically like a window shopper is someone who, you know, a person who sees something that they want, but they may not have the funds to get it. And it's gonna be like that for people who get they see it shut off. You're gonna see things as you walk past in the mall or in the store. You're gonna see something that you want, but you won't be able to buy it because they shut off your see hit. See? Let me go window shopper. Not the 50 cent. It says a window shopper is a person who looks at items displayed in store windows or online without the immediate intention of buying them, right? But in this case, you won't be able to buy it. You're going to be a window shopper by default, or rather by force, because once they shut off your C-HIP, you won't be able to buy it. So yeah, you might see something that you want in a store or online, right? But you won't be able to buy it because they shut off your C-HIP. You see? It says this activity, known as window shopping, focus on browsing, researching products, or enjoying the display rather than making a purchase. Right. So by the definition, a window shopper is someone who sees something that they like, but intentionally, right, doesn't buy it. But rather in the future, in the NWO, people that get their C-HIP shut off, they're gonna be window shoppers by force. You're gonna see things that you like and want, but you won't be able to buy it. You know. So let's get into the scriptures. I know I rambled. I didn't mean to do that, but Lord willing, it was useful information and that it was edifying. But I do want to bring this out. What Elder Yashawamba said regarding Trump, right? Because he brought a clip about Donald Trump. So I do want to bring that out. Give me a second. So this is the Elder Yashawamba from Dallas. His channel is Remnant Save 144. And look, it says 1444. Call Lame Liar. How about Shemal Rashad? You know, those that know, right? But see, this is the spirit. It all lines up into this lesson because this is the Elder Yashawamba's page from Dallas, Remnant Save 144, right? Watch and subscribe. I'm subscribed, right? And this was his lesson he did yesterday, or 19 hours ago, rather, Salaki, 19 hours ago, titled Prophecy Watch, CBDC and M.O.T.B is a reality, right? Because, you know, what the elder is reporting on regarding the M.O.T.B, right? Updates on the M.O.T.B, how Esau is moving with the M.O.T.B, how he's progressing regarding the setup, setting the M.O.T.B up, his progress, right? You know, regarding his progress, okay? So this is Donald Trump, right? Talking about, you know, it says here, President Trump promises to next plans for a central bank digital currency. So let's hear what DJ Trump, right, Nero has to say, and we'll wrap the lesson up with Revelation 13, 16 through 18. But again, this is the Elder Lesson, Remnant Save 144. Watch and subscribe, right? The title of this lesson is Prophecy Watch, CBDC and M.O.T.B is a reality because it is here. And for Revelation 13, 16 through 18 to come to pass, it has to be made mandatory, right? And globally, all right? And, you know, the elites are taking steps and making progress to make that happen, right? But it's not mandatory yet, right? Cash is still here, right? People can still buy and sell with dollars, right? So with this yeah, or with their current currency, right? In order for the digital currency to be globalized and mandatory, the current currencies that these countries are using, you know, have to collapse. Whether it's the U.S. dollar, the yen, you know, rupee, right? Whatever the case may be, it has to collapse. Countries have to do away with those currencies in order for the digital currency to be the new form of currency, right? So before there is a digital currency system, right, which is what the NWO is about, the B system is about, a digital based currency system, there has to be a collapse of the current currency system, right? Or in other words, before we have digital money, you have to get rid of physical money. You have to get rid of the physical currency that we're using now. Okay. And that's what these elites have been doing, right? They've been taking steps and making plans, right? Doing things because they've been taking actions to get rid of the US dollar, to destroy the US dollar. right? And we see reports that the elders, put out regarding this topic of the micro CHIP, that other countries ditch their currency, um their current currency, in order to adopt a digital based currency. You know, let me see if I can find one article, but I get that. I get back to that later. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back, Salakia. But this is from the channel GMS Standing Firm 2, right? In this article here, posted 10 days ago, regarding Revelation, the scripture I'm going to bring out, Revelation 13, 16 through 18. It says, excuse me, it says Trump just signed a directive to allow, hold on, give me a second. Lucky for that. I had to clear my throat. But it says here from the brother GMS Standing Firm 2. This is his page. I'm also subscribed, watch and subscribe, right? And this is a post he did 10 days ago regarding Revelation 13, 16 through 18. And he did a post about Trump, right? And he put on the post Revelation 13, 16 through 18, because it goes back to that verse, Revelation 13, 16 through 18, right? So he did a post about Trump, and the verse and the post go back, and he put the precept Revelation 13, 16 through 18. So I'm saying it again so it can be clear, so that there's no misunderstandings. So here's the post here. It says Trump just signed a directive to allow AI chips to be put inside human brains, right? To see it. So this is already been put in motion, right? To see it, okay, to be put inside people, that human implants. All right, it says 65,000 electrodes, paper thin, wireless powered. Here's what they mean, right? It says, while most people are debating whether AI will take their job, the government just quietly moved to put AI inside the human brain, and that's the mark that's going into your forehead. All right, this human implant. All right, so like I said earlier, they're already making moves and plans to make this to set up this digital based current. Well, they're already making plans in the motion, right, to get people to get this implant inside humans, inside people. Okay, if I didn't make it clear earlier, they want to turn you into a digital slave. They want this excuse me, this implant inside of you. What the hell, man? So it says a new directive was signed to accelerate 6G development. That's code for the CHIP, right? They say terms like 6G. 6G is code for CHIP, because that's talking about human implants. So it says a new directive was signed to accelerate 6G deployment specifically. So accelerate. So they already was putting actions, but now they speeding things up. That go back to Revelation 12 and 12, right? Knowing times, Salakia, the devil will come down on you with great wrath, knowing that he have a short time, roughly paraphrasing, right? Woe to you that dwell on the earth, for the devil will come down on you with great wrath, knowing that he have but a short time. Roughly paraphrasing Revelation 12 and 12. But that's the precept that goes into this, because these devils know they have a short time, so now they speeding things up, right? They speeding up their plans. They're working faster, right, to bring about their NWO, to bring them to put these implants inside of people, right? Because in order for their NWO to be established, they have to collapse the current currency system, right? They have to collapse the current currency system, and that's also what they're trying to do as well, right? They're trying to destroy the U.S. dollar, right? And other countries will soon get rid of their currency to adopt a digital-based currency, right? And just like how Nero, DJ Trump, right, um, is signing off on this, gonna have other countries where other country leaders sign up off on this and start moving away from their current currency to more digital currency. Okay, like I said earlier, they're gonna ditch their currency to adopt more digital currency. So it says here, a directive was signed to accelerate 6G deployment specifically to operate implantable technology. All right. Um, you can pause and read here. You can pause and read, but the point I want to bring out, that was the point. You know that Trump signed for this, right? So they're already making, putting plans into motion. They're already um moving forward with their NWO and you know implementation of the CHIP. Okay, what I was trying to find on this, which I'm gonna have to look up. It says here, I was correct, but now the Google AI overview, is correcting it. It says Mexico is not the first country to launch a central bank digital currency. So in other words, they wasn't Mexico, the country of Mexico wasn't the first country to adopt CBDCs, right? Continuing on, it says, but it is actively developing a digital peso to enhance financial inclusion, right? So what this is saying is they're going to switch over to digital currency, right? So they're going to get rid of physical pesos and adopt digital pesos, right? It says while early reports aim for a 2024 launch, development is ongoing. So working on they still working on getting rid of their physical pesos to implement those digital pesos. And it's the same with America. It's ongoing. The developments is ongoing, right? They're working on, as we seen, Trump signed that directive on making putting giving a green light for human implants, you know, inside people's brains. Well, human implants rather, Salakia. He gave the green light for human implants. Let me correct that. He gave the green light for human implants. You know, that development is ongoing because they're working on destroying their physical dollar so where they can put on this digital currency. Okay, over here in the States. So you're gonna see as elders do lessons and reports, is going to be and news going to come out of more countries, you know, um, doing away with their physical currency and adopting more digital currency, right? CBDCs. So it says it's going to have different names, but it's all going to tie back to a central bank digital currency system, right? It says while earlier reports aim for a 2024 launch, development is ongoing with plans to make digital payments mandatory for fuel and tolls by late 2026. So their goal is to make it mandatory. The same how in America and the US, they want to make it mandatory, right? And that go back to Revelation 13, 16 through 18, right? Because at that time, these digital payments, right? This digital based currency system is mandatory right now it's being set up, it's being developed. But in the future, right, when that prophecy is fulfilled, it's going to be made mandatory. So you won't be able to buy or sell unless you are cooperating and being a part of the B system, right, which is this digital based currency system. Okay.